Hi boys and girls, I'm Maddie, and today I am in my backyard because we are going to be talking about some trees and leaves. And we're going to do some cool experiments about leaves and how they change colors and how they breathe. We're going to learn about plants too. I'm really excited. Fall is one of my favorite seasons because I love seeing when leaves change colors. They start out as green. Most of mine are green right here in the backyard. And then they change to red and sometimes orange and yellow. So maybe your leaves are changing at home. So we're gonna do a really cool experiment and learn more about that today.
Talking about leaves. And there's a lot of different types of leaves. You can see over here we have a maple leaf. And then there's a lot of other different shapes of leaves and different colors in different kind of leaves. So we're going to talk about that today. So most leaves that you see might be green. And maybe you wonder, why are leaves green? And that is because they have different chemicals in them that make them green. There's one chemical called chlorophyll that also makes it green. Leaves take energy from the sun, and that helps determine what color they're going to show and in what season. Another thing that's cool about leaves is that they live on trees, which are plants. And we know that plants need sunlight and water in order to live and grow, and also air. Plants, like flowers and trees with leaves on them, do this really cool thing where they make their own food. So, they use the sun and they soak up the sunlight and they turn that into food. And there's a special word for this. It's pretty big. It's called photosynthesis. So it sounds really big, but that just means that the plants can make their own food. So in our experiment today, we are going to see a little bit of photosynthesis in action, and we're gonna see if can leaves breathe, and we're gonna see if they can breathe or not. So we're gonna do that. And then we're also going to see how leaves can change colors, and we're going to see the different colors that are inside leaves that might be hidden sometimes.
Okay, so we've learned a little bit more about leaves and how they breathe, and also plants and how they breathe. So I picked a leaf from my tree. It was just a living leaf. And we're just gonna submerge it in this bowl of water and wait a little bit. And we're gonna see if we can tell if it's breathing or not. So I'm just gonna put that in there now. Here's my bowl with my leaf in it. And we're just gonna come back to that and make some predictions. Do you think that leaves can breathe? I don't know, we'll come back and see. So we started our first experiment, now we're gonna start our second experiment. Okay, so for the next experiment, we are going to need some coffee filter paper, a jar or a cup, a big bowl of water, and an adult will get some rubbing alcohol, and leaves. So I picked some leaves off of the tree from my backyard. And I'm just gonna start ripping them up into tiny little pieces, and I'm gonna put them in some jars. That's step one. Okay, so I just ripped up some leaves into really tiny pieces and put them in 2 jars. They have to be really, really tiny. And the next step is to pour some rubbing alcohol. Maybe an adult can do this. And we're going to just pour it over top of the leaves so that it just covers up the leaves do a little more in both jars. Okay, great. Now, once the leaves are all wet, I'm gonna stir it up a little bit, and then I'm gonna go mash it with a spoon. Okay, so I have my spoon, and I'm just stirring it around until I see the liquid turn a little green. So I'm gonna, there it goes. So the liquid is green. Once you have that, I'm just gonna cover up my jar with some plastic wrap. So here's my jar with the leaves, and I'll do it to the other one too. Okay, my next step, and final step for a while, is to put our jars with the leaves in it into a big bowl of hot water. And we're gonna leave it there for a little. So my 2 jars right now in the water. And then we wait, and then we'll come back and see what we have to do next.
Let's check back in on that leaf that we put underwater. Can it breathe? Well, if you look closely, you can see bubbles on the leaf. That is a part of photosynthesis and means that the leaf can breathe. Just like you blow bubbles underwater, the leaf has bubbles on it. We're also going to check back in on our green leaves, and look how green the liquid got. Now, after I put a coffee filter in, you can see that this leaf is green and yellow. This is really cool and means that this leaf mainly turns yellow and light green in the fall. You can see the different colors on the coffee paper.
All right, now that we're all done all of our experiments for today, let's review what we did. So we learned a little bit about leaves and trees and plants. And plants, we learned, make their own food using photosynthesis. And we saw photosynthesis in action by seeing our leaf with the bubbles on it, which meant it's breathing. We also saw all the colors of a leaf through our coffee filter paper experiment. I had a lot of fun with you guys today. I'll see you next time. Bye.